Alchemy begins with
Noisy
understanding the
Pixel.
fundamental principles of all things. Everything exists based on.
As a fan of MMORPGs in general, I enjoy how each release in the genre has its own unique take on things. When it comes to Prolibis's MMORPG Black Desert Online for PC, I've always been interested in what the game had to offer, but sadly never found the time to dive fully into the world. Now, their sandbox MMORPG has come to Xbox One, and I'm finally ready to see what Black Desert is all about. My name is Brian Lee, and this is Noisy Pixel's review for Black Desert on Xbox One. Black Desert focuses mainly on a sandbox-oriented experience that boasts a tagline of "Become your true self." Similar to games like Mabinogi, players can forge their own path through the game by spending time in PvP or PvE modes, which are found in more straightforward MMORPGs, but also put time into crafting, horse breeding, home decorating, and other activities that I never expect to be doing for hours on end. But hey, here I was buying property and mapping trade routes without noticing the time fly by. What Black Desert also offers is an immense character creation system where players can create their ideal avatar. But let's be serious, ideal waifu. These options include manipulating hair and its length or changing the size and shape of any portion of the character, and while it can seem confusing at first, the game also gives players the option to choose characters that were created by other players and manipulate those instead. Combat in Black Desert is perhaps the part of the game that I enjoyed the most. Instead of the typical hotbar skills that you see in most MMORPGs, Black Desert features a more action-oriented form of combat that is similar to a fighting game or a beat-em-up. There are numerous skills that you can learn, and each has their own button combinations that are required to execute the skill. Memorizing the button inputs for skills and executing them perfectly felt very rewarding, and it added a lot to my immersion with the combat. The role-playing nature of the game is a prominent focus for Black Desert, since players need to do things like kill an enemy a few times to discover its HP and weaknesses, or enter a town for the first time and speak with NPCs in order to gain knowledge about the town as well as affinity with the citizens. While the role-playing features of Black Desert offer a lot in the case of immersion, the game does leave a lot unexplained and up to the player to figure out on their own. This becomes clear at the start of the game due to the clutter and disorganization of the menus and UI, and zero explanation of what you can do as well as how to do things you want to do. Little inconveniences like having to take care of and keep track of your mount and the lack of HUD customization options really made the game feel clunky, and the sheer number of things to do in the game can get overwhelming for those who prefer a more straightforward and traditional approach to MMORPG game design. Black Desert is not a bad game by any means. In fact, it's a beautiful game that offers players a grand adventure with a long list of things to do that aren't typically found in MMORPGs. However, the game requires that players be open to exploring an immersive world with all the benefits and annoyances that come with it. With that said, it's not for the more conventional MMORPG fan looking for traditional mechanics. In the end, I had fun with the Second Life nature of Black Desert, and the game runs and looks amazing on Xbox One. I mean, it even had me enjoying using a console controller for an MMORPG, which I never thought I'd say. However, this is a game that will only give the most to players willing to put the time into exploring the game's many offerings. Noisy Pixel is giving Black Desert a 7.5 out of 10. As always, thank you for tuning into the review. For more awesome gaming content, be sure to check out our website at noisypixel.net. And if you'd like to leave us a message, hit us up on the comment section below or on Twitter at NoisyPixelNews.